Hey, here we are. Can someone just let me know if you can hear me before we go any further? Yeah, cheers, Colin. I like it. It's a bit like that when you go live. It's a bit crazy. Now, I know, right, Albert 30, hi. Can someone hear me or not? Making sure I'm good to go. Um, just in case you can't hear me, that was my birthday hat with the candles on the top. Andy Campbell, Phaser Rider. Yeah, cheers, fellas. Thanks, Albert. Colin Guntrip. Welcome aboard, everybody. I've had a bit of a weird old day today. I had my first ever Zoom conference or whatever. And I was so tempted to put my hat on. Tim the Hampshire's Hog. Yeah, thanks for the thumbs up, mate. You get your shopping done. All going well. I'll still be here when you come back. Right, let's get to it. Has anyone got any new kit? Any problems with the CB radios, antennas, SWR, anything? Swady boy, no. No, they're not. Unfortunately, you're out of luck. So come on, lads. How have you been since Sunday? Any good contacts? Dirty Diaper, Watcher, good to see you in here. Yeah, Albert, I've got a sneaky feeling that if you can get that coax changed, that might cure at least part of your problems. Gary Seed, hi mate. Dipsy, busy at work as normal. Old Butterfingers there himself. Dipsy, did you ever get your phone sorted out? Chris Wilby's got a Superstar 3900 and gets FM on AM for some reason. I can't really give you a demo of that, Chris. But if you're on FM and you just move your mode switch to AM, you've not actually changed frequency. You're still there. And sometimes if you play about with your KC shift or your fine and tune, you will be able to hear. A lot of people are getting confused when they go from AM to FM to upper sideband to lower sideband. You're not actually changing frequency at all. You're still on the same frequency, just using a different mode. Paul Miller's asking about network radio. Well, I use Zello, and I think that's part of network radio, isn't it? I'm a bit of a newbie when it comes to all that. Adrian Hobbies, not confused. Well, I'm just, Albert is asking about the noise from one of the other guys' smart meters. There's one way of telling, Albert, if you can, switch it off. Phaser Rider's got his 9900. Haven't had time to set it all up yet. Running it on a 5/8 wave Hawkins antenna. I don't know what one of them is, but it's a 5/8 wave. And Colin Guntrip has just pointed out something that I did mean to mention. I've created a Zello channel, if you like, and it's called CB Radio England, because too many people were struggling to find the 3181. Okay, Albert, well, there's one way you can check. Take your power supply and your rig and shove it right next to the smart meter. I'm sure if there's any interference, it'll probably show up without an aerial. If it don't, you can put a very small piece of wire in the back of the rig, you know, where your plug is. Yeah, Phaser Rider, I'm sure you're going to love the 9900 once you've got your head around how to actually use it. Yeah, Darren Barwick says, glad I made it on. I presume you're talking to me. Yeah, I'm up for it tonight. I'm even on a different chair. If you look in the background, you can see the other chair there. Dipsy's going on about his phone. Yeah, fair enough. Anyway, I'm not sure if all of you know, but I've got the President McKinley back. And I've also got a KL200. Now, if any of you guys got the KL200, I think most of you have probably got the KL203. Because I've been looking at what power to put into it. On the RM website, it says 5 watts. It don't mention modes, it just says 5 watts. On eBay, there's two sellers selling them. One says 15 watts on sideband, the other one says 20. If you go on the Thunderpole website, they're saying 10 watts SSB, 5 watts AM FM. I honestly can't see the attraction with a KL200. I must admit, I've done my normal and I've squeezed it a little bit. And I've got over 100 watts out of it on sideband. That was with about 10 watts in. Five watts in is about 90 watts. I want to get it on video, to be honest. Gizmo White says, "Hey up." Yeah, hey up, Gizmo. How you doing? I grab this cup of tea and I'll let a few people come through the door and see where it takes us. Now, we'll just add that today on Facebook, there was a guy who's got a 9900 and he's bought himself a KL203. And he thought the SWR meter that he bought was a power meter, and it's not. And he was asking people whereabouts is 4 watts on the 9900. And I basically said to him, it's chancy at best to copy what someone else has done. because it might be set up slightly different. I mean, some of the 9900s will do 100 watts. Some will do what it says on the box, which is 60. And what I said to him to do, if he's got a 4-watt rig, put it on his SWR meter, key up, turn the dial until the needle goes on set. Then take the 4-watt rig out, put the 9900 on, and turn the power down until the needle goes on the set. So that's what he's going to do. He did say he was going to pop along. I don't know if he'll be turn up here. So by the looks of it, I might as well just carry on, let you lot carry on, innit? Well, so far I've got 7 likes, 28 people in there. Thanks everyone that's come along. If you've not already, just jump on the chat section, say hello. What kit have you got? Is it your first time here? Etc. Yeah, Albert, I know I can get your logic. It may well be one of them two things. And Eddie's mum says, how's the new chair holding up? All good. All good so far. Paul Miller's 9900 says 5 watts when he turns it all the way down. Chris Lane, hiya Chris, he's in the room. Here we go, no worries. Well, thanks for popping along anyway. I can show you now, while I'm thinking about it, what mic I used on the President McKinley. It's an old Solarcon. It's actually got a Roger bleep on the back, but there is a mic looks exactly the same as this on the market. Just have another look at that if you're thinking of looking for a power mic. Looks exactly the same as that, different name, and apparently they're very good. Let's plug this back into the McKinley, because the most popular one at the minute is the Capo. They're all right. Marvin Watson says, hello Steve, just here on the side. Welcome aboard, Marvin. Don't be shy, mate. If you've got something to say, just get in here. Yeah, it's a good bunch of lads turn up here on a regular basis. Wayne says it's got a white mic that just looks like that. I've never seen a white one. Just catching up on the messages. Dave Portsmouth commented, I take it it's the export one that chucks out 60 watts. I'm not sure who that was to. Dave in Portsmouth. What did you mean by that? Were you talking about the McKinley or the 9900 or what? Erotic radio. Yeah, good evening. How you doing? Albert Footy says on the slide. There you go. Cheers for that, Wayne. Oh, 9900. I actually had to sell my 9900, unfortunately, and that runs 75 watts on sideband. Checked into a dummy load and all the rest of it. 2 days later, I got offered a blinding deal and ended up with the Anytone 4.6s. It's the second Anytone I've had. Power tested it. Does around about 50 watts on both AM and FM and just over 60 on sideband. Like I have been told, with a bit of tweaking, they'll do 100 or 100 plus on sideband. I ain't into all that tweaking. If you look over my shoulder there, that's a KL 400. So to be honest, with my 9900, and I got no doubt with the Anytone, with decent aerial on the car, I can get DX contacts. Done it time over with my old one. America, Germany, Italy, Roy and Corsica, all the rest, no amplifier required. And I just wrung the 9900's neck. I wasn't worried about it getting hot. I used it for, I don't know, 3 years, 4 years, day in, day out. When I sold it, it worked just as good as the day I got it. Being mobile, unless everything is fixed, having something like a 9900 and a KL203 is basically a recipe for disaster for me. You've only got to forget to turn the power down one day and stick 60 watts into your amp. Your amp's toast. I'd rather let the rig take its own chances. I need all them voice changes, echoes, and all that. They were a gimmick back in the 80s and 90s. I know some people still like a bit of echo. Richard Paul is saying he's got President Grant 2 Premium and a President McKinley. I do think that the President McKinley is a lot better than the Grant. Well, to be honest, from what I gather, when the Grant 2 and the Grant 2 Premium were discontinued, the President McKinley was the replacement. I've had the Grant 2. It was all right. Yeah, I made good use out of it. Erotic radio. Yeah, you will have plenty to play with there. Erotic, whereabouts are you in the world? One thing I like about the McKinley is the fact that once you open it up, you can go up and down in 1 kc steps, 5 kc steps. It shows you where all the alphas are, which is handy for a lot of people. It goes from just over 25 megs right up to 29 or 30 megs. And at the press of a button, you can go straight back to the UK FM. Whereas on the Grant 2, you needed to move the jumpers and have switches on the back and all of that. This is all in the one box. Adrian, I'll go out there one night thinking, where's my coax gone? And I'll be connected up to it. Okay, East London. There's quite a few Londoners on CB. The Grant 2 done 12 watts and 4 watts AM FM I think the premium could do a little bit more. The McKinley, when I first got it, it was only about 3 days old. It did 3 or 4 watts AM FM and about 7 watts on sideband on a good whistle. But I've done the expansion on it, the wire snip and the jumper move. Now it does 20 watts sideband FM and a little bit less on AM. Yeah, Eric's talking about Roy in Corsica. Yeah, I spoke to Roy many times. All of the contacts that I had with Roy were mobile, apart from one. I spoke to him one day when I lived up in Bedford. I had an Antron 99 on a very short pole. I was talking to my mate. Roy came in from Corsica. That's the first time I ever knew he existed, until I then realised that I had seen his website. You know, where he's got the beam with a camera on it and he turns it around. And I did hear Roy in Corsica one day. He was chatting to a guy in London, and one of the guys in London kept saying, "You're not in Corsica." And I just felt so sorry for Roy, but he just handled this bloke brilliantly. It was so funny to watch. I might have uploaded it on video. I might not have. I can't remember. It's quite a while ago now. And this is to Erotic Radio. I presume that you've been on CB before. And if so, how long ago, or what sort of kit was you using? And Colin Guntrip's just come up with a good point about putting the 2.5 on the CB 2781 channels. I never used to bother myself. I just used to go to 781. But then one of my mates goes, "Oh, you need to put the 2.5 at the end of it." So I started doing it. And then I got myself my first 6900, which was the early one without the N on it. And it had been programmed to say 2778120. And I thought, that's annoying me. So I had to program it so it said 2.5. It doesn't make any difference, in all honesty, does it? Yeah, text is a little bit slow tonight. I might bore you all actually and show you that box of my bits. Yeah, Erotic was on CB back in the 80s for a while. Yeah, I like that. Yeah, well, I've been on CB with a working rig from 1981 till now. I've had a few gaps. I'm not sure which way to take that, Kev. Show us your bits. Yeah, Cole Smith says that his 6900 goes to 2.0 at the end. It's just more cosmetic than anything else, isn't it? Right, where's my spares box? Well, it's not a spares box as such. I'll show you this one first. This is, most of that is not. I've got this, which I use. if I need to hook up a rig to a battery or whatever. I've got the double crimpers. Dipsy will know what I'm on about there. We've got eyelets and spade connectors and God knows what else in there. I'm not really sure how to do this, fellas. Yeah, Dipsy knows. Albert, yes, I don't know. Finding interference sometimes very difficult. I've said this before, pardon me, on one of my streams. A mate of mine had wall-to-wall noise right through HF. Bit the bullet, paid the money, called Ofcom out. They come out. The guy never had all of the equipment that he needed. He had to come back again with like an RF sniffer. Still couldn't find it. So good luck. And this is to Albert. If you find the noise, what really can you do about it? I suppose you could call Ofcom. It's just strange, Albert's noise weren't there. It's only been back on for a while. Okay, this is like one of them lucky dips. I'm going to show you fellas it. Who knows what that is? I can feel a few heads scratching there. Someone's bound to know what it is. Lego, no. Here's another, I'll show you it again. Adrian Obby says it's a ferrite thingy. That's right, it is. And I'll tell you what, one of these got me out of trouble when I used to operate from my shed when I lived up in the village. I had my PC and my rig, and my aerial was quite close to the shed. When I operated PSK 31, it used to drive the computer absolutely crazy. I don't know whether you can see the size of the hole in there. It's about the same size as the RG58 coax. Now what I did, I got the cables that went in and out of the computer. And what I did with these, they need, if you've got a thin wire and you're going to put it through that, it's going to flop about like a sausage in an alleyway. So what I did, I laid it in, fold it over, so I could just get this thing to close. I put 2 of them on it, cured the problem. I thought, great. What else have we got in there? Albert Foot is asking about a ballon. Yeah, it's got to be, I think, if you can get a bit of pipe, 4 1/4 inches, about 4 turns, I think that acts as a choke. One of them in there, that's an old DV27 mount. Missing the bottom bit off of it. That's an N-type connector to SA239. That's an adapter. So if you've got a Sirio type mag mount, you can screw that in and then screw your fire stick or whatever it is that you've got there. various size ferrites. Going back to when I used to play about on the amateur band, there's an isolator, and that's another type there. If you've got a wire antenna, you just tie it off here, and then this side you have a piece of string or whatever. Nothing really that exciting in there. Various, yeah, Dipsy, I bet all your bits are all over the back of your van, aren't they? That's a 4-pin mic connector. I think I've got just about every. How many bits we got there? 3, 4. That's a 6-pin one. Various little crocodile clips. Some old channel change or control knobs. I've got a feeling that's off an old Fidelity. Speaking of which, I have got something to show you. It's not in this box. And Albert might be interested in this. He was asking about joining coax. Kev63 had a DV27 in the loft on a folded flat twin tub washing machine. Excellent. Well, Wayne will find out if that's a Fidelity thing. Anyway, Albert, that's a joiner for joining coax. If you haven't got one already, they're handy to have. I mean, I've got so much stuff in here. I've got a toolbox full out there. Did I buy out Maplins? No, I didn't. Don't forget, I've been on for nearly 40 years. You pick up these bits and pieces along the way, don't you? Right, let's talk Fidelity. I want to show you something here. Might even talk about that thing. I want to take the mic out of this, save it flopping about everywhere. I don't know whether you can appreciate what sort of condition this thing is in. The front of this rig looks brand new. In all fairness, it probably belongs in someone's collection. Absolute stunning condition, bearing in mind how old it is. And apparently the board that one's got is not the same as the Amstrad. It's the same as some of the Yorks, Rotels and rigs like Harrier CBX, and it works a treat. I've power tested it. It does just over 3.5 watts. It is Wayne. It is a Fidelity 2000. And Tim the Hampshire Hog says it's a beauty. It is. I've got to be honest, I'm not a massive fan of them, but it's in such good nick. I'm really glad I've got it. But it does really, I think it belongs in a collection somewhere. There's no box or bracket for it, strangely. Dave in Portsmouth said his first legal rig. Now let's have a look. I watched the video on the Fidelity 2000 the other day. And there's a guy on there, he's vlogging this rig, and it is absolutely hanging. You know, the rigs that have had a lot of use, your fingers tend to scrub off the writing. Let's have a look. Right, that's the fidelity, and that's the control knob. No, not the same. The fidelity's got indentations and a little bit fatter. I have got a small audio line here. I'm looking at it. It's very similar to the audio line, but it's not an audio line. They're a bit bigger. I've got a Superstar 360. I don't know, that remain a mystery though. Oh yeah, and I've got umpteen thumb screws in here, this sort of thing. That's quite an old one. It's got rust on that. I've got loads of these. But yeah, Matt Plinth, that's my favourite shop at one point. Fred in the Shed's here. Fred, I want to know the policy on elastic bands in your trade. What you're supposed to do with them. 49 people in there now. Thanks for joining, everyone. If you've not already made a comment in the chat, crack on. If you've got a CB related problem, or just tell us about what rig, what twig, what burner, what mic, what power pack, what coax, how high your aerial is, how much noise you've got. AM for music. Hi mate, how you doing? What's my favourite mic? Out of the current ones, I don't know, I suppose it's got to be the Capo, and I don't really rate them very highly, to be honest. But I think if I had the choice of any mic, any fist mic, I'd go for the Aesthetic Teardrop. Yeah, okay, Fred. And yeah, man, I went up the road on my bike the other day. There must be 20 rubber bands all up and down the street. Most of you probably know I'm an animal lover. I just don't think it's right. So I might have to have a word there. Dirty Kate is running high, going 5. I wanted one of them for years, just because of the Roger bleed. I have had a couple, but when you could buy them new, I couldn't afford one. Fred's been on the table. Gabriel says, oh God, Fred's it. Yeah, got you, Fred. I'm going to look into it, and I'm going to have a word with our man. You know, I don't want to land anyone in any trouble, but on the other hand, I don't want to see any wildlife. "50 people on it." Well, actually, I'm reading 49. 21 likes. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, everyone, for joining. And for risk of repeating myself yet again, if you're on CB, come and tell us what you use, or, you know, what your hopes and dreams are. You know, if you're not on at the minute, but was on in the day, we want to hear from you as well. Paul Edwards looks like he's been around a while. His first sidebander was a Major 588. He had one of them. I think there was another Major as well. I can't remember the model of it. Adrian Obby says at 20 quid each, it's going to cost you. Sorry, mate, I've got no idea. Maybe that won't even to me. Yeah, Wayne, I'm an animal lover. I mean, you probably, we lost our little dog, unfortunately. We had to have him put down. I've completely lost the thread here. Marvin Watson's got a 588 and I gain 5. Used to have a Galaxy Pluto. That's one of the big home base jobs, isn't it? Hi, Emil. How you doing, mate? What have I got just in front of me here? I've got the President McKinley, the Fidelity 2000, the Cobra 29 sound tracker, the small audio line, the 360 FM, which is old, but I love using it. I've got to be honest. Underneath, I've got the Lincoln 2 Plus. I love that rig. I think it's great. Underneath that, I've got a 6900 in its box. I'll probably, what's this one? Oh, yeah, the other one is a 3900. It's the one, must be one of the old ones with a 6-position thing, 25 watt output on it. Switchable bleep, 10 kc jump, all standard across the front of the rig. That's nice. Swady boy, God, do you know what? I never had a 23 channel rig. I was posh. My first rig was a straight 40 Bristol. Had the old Gas Mark 9 clear dial on it. Tim the Hampshire Hog, what might be a half decent 3-foot max antenna for the car for SSB? How comes you want to get a 3-foot antenna, Tim? Yeah, Rotic. I'm back on here on Sunday from 7 o'clock. I'll do the same times every week. You get your dog sorted out, mate. Thanks for dropping by. Marvin Watson's got a President Madison and a Stalker 9 FDX. Do you know what? I had a Madison years ago. I used to buy and sell rigs, as most of you probably know. And there was a young lad, he only lived, I don't know, half a mile away from me. And I was so envious of him. He had this President Madison, told me all about it. And, and I said, if ever you want to flog it, let me know. Cut a long story short, he called me up one day. He said, Steve, I want to flog this rig. He goes, but I'm not going to lie to you. I tried adjusting something in the rig. He said, I think I messed it up a bit. I said, how much do you want for it? I was straight round now. I can't remember what I bought it for. Bought it back home. When you keyed up, the needle went twanging off the end. The receive was off the scale. That weren't too bad. But what was bad was when I first tried it on sideband, it sounded absolutely terrible. And I was gutted because he used to sound brilliant on this old thing. 58 people here, that's a record. So thanks everyone for joining. If you've not already, introduce yourself. Come and have a chat in the chat box. There's a great bunch of lads in there. So what I had to do a bit, I'm not one for getting a screwdriver in rigs, but what I had to do, one of the local amateurs, I said to him, look, Rick, I know you don't advise it, but I'm going to try and sort this rig out myself. He was a local rig doctor and he was absolutely spot on. He said, all right. And I sat there and I had a little twiddle with this and a little twiddle with that, and I got it absolutely right. It came with a box and everything, but I didn't have it long. Someone else wanted it. Away it went. Simon Bell says a little will is a good option. If you live locally, I've got a little will and you can have it for nothing. I'll be glad to see the back of it. I was given it. To be honest, unless mine is faulty, I won't get tuppence halfpenny for it. And I don't mean to sound offensive to Simon. The one I've got, it was a real bugger to tune in, and it only covered about 20 channels. You go much further than that, the old SWR would start to creep up. Maybe there's a fault with it, maybe that's why I was given it. Colin, Wiltshire, late on parade. No worries, Colin. Good to see you in here, mate. Tim the Hampshire Hog. A little Will. It's made, but it's like a Wilson. They're only about, I can't even show you. The whip's about this long, maybe a little bit more. Emil says we need more people on CB. Yes, we do. Emil, whereabouts are you in the world? In England or, abroad? Colin Guntrip is the Black Meter series. Got no idea what that means, Colin, but obviously made you laugh. So, yeah, fair play. Oh, Emil's in Spain. Yeah, okay. Paul Edwards asks, what do I use the President Texas on? On my car. Just bung it on the car and away I go. It's a bit cumbersome compared with the Megawatt 4000, but it has got a very slight edge on it. Pioneer 2605. It's got a mini half breed, 500 watts max, unless you're sort of advising, matey, with the aerial. Yeah, half breeds and dialer matches, they were. Colin Guntrip, is it the Black Meter aerials? I still don't know what you mean, mate. The little wheel is made by Wilson, and the base of it, the coil, is black, and in gold it says Wilson on it. I've also had the Wilson 1000, which was obviously a lot bigger. That one a bad antenna. Look them up, Colin, if that's what you meant. John 680 says, if you're on Facebook, look up Old School CB. It's a private group. You'll be able to post your videos on there. Oh, hang on. Monitor's gone off there. Oh, no. We're back. I've also got a Facebook page, John. It's called CB Radio Europe. I post my videos on there as well. But, yeah, thanks for letting us know. And, obviously, if anyone else wants to have a look at John's Facebook thing as well, that would be good. Dave Portsmouth's got to go because his the Isle of Wight, or the Isle of Network. Yeah, whatever. Dave in Portsmouth, thanks for dropping by, mate. Nice to see you in here, and good luck on your network. Dirty Katie uses an old 6-foot Avanti Moonraker on his van. generally speaking, with mobile, well, with any aerials, bigger is always going to be better. I see a lot of people, what's the best small aerial? I don't know. Don't start me. Cole Smith put his 827 up. What do you reckon on it? I presume that's Colin. What do you reckon on the 827? Swady boy. Colin Guntrip, what's the best power supply to run an 800-watt burner? My God, I couldn't even work that out. It's going to have to be big. I'll call you Colin until you correct me. Are you the guy that had the 5/8 wave silver rod? Is it a silver rod? I know someone was getting the 827. Yeah, Neil, he's having a good old laugh here. Where's that Mr. Fred gone? I don't know. I've seen a couple of posts from him. Yeah, Mill says a nuclear power plant. Yeah, that's about right. I don't know if 800 watts are going to be enough for him, is it? Oh, Fred, you're still here, mate. Well, I did see that you'd uploaded a video on some walkie-talkies. I've got to be honest, I didn't watch it, but are they any good, mate? Are they digital or analog? Or are they one of these network radio type things? Oh, you're going Zello in lockdown. Yeah, that's fair enough. Fred is the man with the hands. I've got another chair here in the background. I was going to make up like a dummy Fred with that other hat on it with a bit of string so I could just pull it. So I thought, no, I wouldn't do it. I've actually got a 50 amp power supply here. For some reason, it's turned on. It's an MJB. Don't make me pick it up because it's got about 3 rigs connected to it, an amplifier and whatnot. Yeah, Tim the Hampshire Hog. Sorry, I've asked you this. You probably replied, but there's so many messages flying about. What's the one in an aerial 3 foot long? Yeah, I've seen Fred. I have actually genuinely got a picture of Fred, and I'm not saying where I got it from. Oh, Tim's trying to be inconspicuous. Tim, I used to run a massive aerial on a Mini, The thing looked like a bumper car. Everyone used to look. Don't be shy, mate. Get out of there. Adrian Obby says, it's strange how Thunderpole don't make a real Thunderpole anymore. Yeah, honestly, Tim, go for it, mate. The small aerials, you know, I won't give tuppence halfpenny for them. I ain't saying they ain't going to work, because they obviously will. Colin says, is it a signed photograph? If you're on about the one I've got of him, no, it's not. I've got to be honest, sometimes when I'm out in my car with the Texas on, sometimes the other day I pulled up and I was in the left-hand lane. Wait for it.
I wonder if this is working.
Yeah, it's working if you're on air. A family pulled up next to me and all of the kids were looking out. Even the passenger in the front, I can't remember who it was, but everyone was looking at the aerial. Tim the Hampshire Hog says he uses a Serio ML145. Yeah, I've had one of them. Nice enough aerial, not overly big. And I will say, I bought the ML145 not by accident. I went to Rocket Radio to buy the Megawatt 4000 because I did have in the past a Megawatt 3000. When I got there, I was a bit short. So I came out with the ML145, put it to good use. A few weeks later, I got the wedge and I went in there and I bought the the Serio Megawatt 4000 along with a bigger magnet, and I did side-by-side tests. Although the Megawatt 4000 was better, it was only better by about 1 point. I ended up giving the ML145 away to my neighbour because he swore blind that he was going to get on CB and give it all. No regrets. He gave me loads of stuff, but he never got into it. Colin, is there a legal height limit for mobile aerials on your car? Not that I'm aware of, mate, but common sense has got to prevail. I mean, I knew someone who used to drive an Arctic, and on the walkway behind the cab where all the airlines are, he mounted a silver rod. You know, I mean, even the halfway's 18 foot long. Dirty Katie, Jason, if I remember. Have you just joined my Facebook page or the old CB page? Just for everyone's record, I think the President Texas is 2 meters in length. The only thing I don't like about it, it's got a join in the center of the whip. I wish it was just one whip because that centerpiece, I wouldn't say it's as thick as your little finger, but it's quite chunky and it adds extra load. Bearing in mind, you know, I use mine on a mag mount. No, Emil, the silver rod was on a truck. A guy used to, when I lived up in another town, there was a guy that used to come through regularly in his lorry, and he'd mounted a silver rod behind the cab. Dwayne says, hi Steve, nice to meet you too. Yeah, hi Dwayne. Tell us a bit about yourself. Whereabouts are you? What kit do you use? What's on your wish list? Yeah, Emil. Yeah, people do crazy stuff. with CB. A guy down the road who was completely off his head, right? He got an alarm battery, little 12-volt alarm battery, put it in like a man bag with his CB in it. And he just had a piece of wire sticking out the bottom of the CB that he used to drag along with him. SWR must have been through the roof, but, you know. Gary says it's see how fast it can go for 1.5 meters. Springer mag mount on the roof. I've never had a Springer, to be honest. I've had a few mag mounts come off over the years. I used to drive a 7.5 tonner, and I can't even remember what aerial I had on it, but that fell over one day. It was bouncing about the side of the cab. I think I told you that. So I was in a Vauxhall Zafira coming back from Norfolk, had the megawatt on the roof. I hit a bird. I think it must have been a wood pigeon, flew out of one of the hedges, knocked the mag mount off. Then it came off again under a local railway bridge, you know, with the pigeons. Dwayne is in Frinton-on-Sea. What are you using for equipment, Dwayne? Are you actually on CB at the moment, or have you been on it? Just tell us a bit about yourself. You know, we're all into the same thing here. If you need help, just ask. Because as a collective, there's at the minute 53 people. Emil says he really likes your video, and to be honest, Fred in his videos mentioned you, and since. Okay, yeah, I've got the gist of that, Emil. Yeah, well, welcome aboard. I mean, I've only been on for 39 years. You just found me through Fred, so yeah, brilliant. Fred, if you're here again in the background or whatever, cheers for that, Fred. I've got to ask, if any of you are not working like myself, how are you coping with lockdown? I'm finding it a bit weird, to be honest. I find myself awake all night and can't get out of bed in the morning. And yeah, Pioneer. You can't beat a DV mount drilled permanent to the roof. You can change antennas with a 3/8 thread. With me, it's a convenience thing. Now, I've been told by people who are supposed to be experts, right, that mag mounts are crap and they're no good, and all the reasons why they ain't no good and why a body mount is better. Now, I've had body mounts in the past, gutter mounts, lip mounts. Now they don't come off. That is the big bonus. You know, they're a permanent thing. And if you want to use a tuner in your car, it needs like a return to tune against, and which you can't get that with a magnet. So that, you know, but performance wise, from the car with a mag mount, I've managed to speak to America God knows how many times. If the skip's there, I'm in it to win it, you know. So I've done all right. And if someone's got an issue with, you know, if they sort of drive really fast and they can't keep their antenna on with a magnet, then obviously body mount or gutter mount, lip mount would obviously be the way to go. Marvin Watson says, just about coping. Tell me about it, mate. It's an absolute, it's really strange. My other half, they're, we're both going through the same thing. It's a bit of a worry, but yeah, Paul Edwards, yeah, I don't fancy, my old car, right, which I've had for 3 or 4 years, if I could show you my camera, I know it's here somewhere. Oh, it's just out of reach. Oh, you can see it there, the back of it. It's a Canon 800D. I paid more for that than I did my car, but I still don't want to drill holes in it. Dwayne says he's uploaded my CB channel about the new CB radios, and you're welcome to have a look if it's okay to post it. Post it where, Dwayne? Have you posted it on CB Radio Europe? That's no problem. Post it in here if you want. Yeah, Emil's got a mag mount and a stereo and everything's okay. Yeah, Dwayne, go ahead, mate. We're just there as a collective. If there's anything that comes out of this as a bonus that will benefit everyone, crack on, mate. Gypsy, are you Swedish? I do appreciate you asking anyway, Dwayne, but yeah, go ahead. It might be flagged in actual fact. I've had a lot of comments lately on my YouTube channel that are not actually being put out there. In Albert from Hitchin, are you still in here, mate? Because if you are, because you posted your email address on one of my videos, it's gone into the spam folder. John says no one seems to be talking about the K40 mag mount. They're a good aerial, the K40. Anyone who's been on for any length of time either wanted one because they were expensive, weren't they? Me included. I've had about 3, I think. Kev63 is going to put a megawatt 4000 on this Vivaro. That's fair enough. What are you putting it on the roof or the mirror or what? 'Cause that's going to clang a few bridges, I should imagine, mate. Yeah, it's to anyone. If you want to make a comment on any of my videos or probably Fred's, or because there's a lot of us uploading at the minute, if you put a link on my videos, at least it won't get shown. It will go into the spam folder. If you want I was going to say spam, but it's not the right word. If you want your stuff shared via me, ask me, and then I'll give you a shout out. It's as simple as that. Yeah, Kev, you want to watch that, mate? Because of even if it's a low Vivaro with nearly 2 meters of twig above it, mate, you're going to be hitting some gear there. Fred says it goes into spam. The problem is, years ago, if you went onto someone's video, you think, right, I'm going to put a link to my videos on it, bosh, you could do it. But YouTube changed that because it stops people spamming. You just can't do it anymore. If you want to shout out, ask me, I'll shout you out if I look at your channel and I think it's okay. Adrian Hobby, spam, egg and chips. I'll tell you what, during this lockdown and while I've been out of work, I've been doing a bit of cooking, and I do a mean egg fried rice now. I do like a bit of the old chinky food. Like, I won't buy it at the minute. I think probably most of you are tumbled white, but I can make my own and it's absolutely banging. And a bit of pasta as well. If my channel was about cooking, I would be hammering them videos out to you, but it's not about cooking. Anyway, Kev63, have you already got the Megawatt 4000, Kev? Or have you had it ages and just got yourself the van, or what? Do a cooking channel, yeah. Tim the Hampshire Hog. Yeah, you're right. I mean, years ago, you could be driving down a road and you'd have your CB on, and quite often you'd hear eyeball the Escort or the Mini or the Granada or whatever it was you were driving. You'd be picking up the mic, yeah, eyeball, who was that? Quite often you won't even see them. Yeah, Marvin says, too much eating, cooking, not enough exercise. Tell me about it. I've started riding my bike again. Kev63, not yet. Megawatt 4000, brilliant aerial. I've done so well on mine. But if you're mag mounting it on the roof of a Vivaro, you're going to have to be aware that it's there if you come under any low bridges or branches or whatever. Pioneer's going on about some coax. I don't know that one, to be honest. Gary Seed. I'll tell you what, can you imagine me and Gordon Ramsay? Can you? Well, I don't tend to swear on air because YouTube penalises me if I do, right? But I can swear with the best of them. I'll probably teach him a few words. I don't think they'd be able to air it. I reckon I like Gordon Ramsay. I think he's all right. He does swear a lot, but that's probably, him just being him. And I think in this world, you've got to be yourself. People don't like you, then jog on. I'll tell you what, I bet I can make better pasta than what Gordon Ramsay can. Adrian, I wore the robin on the hat because it was Christmas. It's not Christmas anymore. Yeah, Albert, you will get local signals, I once heard a bloke with just a pair of scissors in the back of his rig. I mean, I'm not recommending it, and he weren't that far away, but I did hear him call me. And on HF, I was on a random frequency one day, and I could hear this voice way, way, way down. And I was trying to clarify it, and I eventually got it. Suddenly, a massive signal came over, and the guy went back to him. And the guy said to him, I thought I heard someone on this frequency, and the bloke accidentally was transmitting into nothing. Okay, he had his switcher box set on the wrong antenna. He didn't even have an antenna in that. Me and the other guy could just about make him out. Kev 60, do you know what? I'd love a parrot. I'd love an African grey. I know they can bite like a bitch, but I would love a parrot. How are we doing for time, fellas? I'm in a more comfortable chair right now, so I might hang on for a little bit if you guys ain't willing, in a hurry to run off. An hour and 20 minutes. I'll tell you what, I'll see if I can tough it out till 9. I've got to keep her indoors happy, of course. So it's not the smart me. Oh, I get your point now, Albert. Phaser Rider said you missed Albert's point. Yes, I've got it now. Dwayne's asking how I am. If it's to me, because it might be another Steve. Yeah, I'm absolutely fine. If I'm sort of mixing up answers to questions, then there's a spare seat there if you want to join in and take over. It's quite difficult. Yeah, it was. It was from Minder. I used to love watching Minder. Oh, mate, he used to get himself in some right old scraps, didn't he? Oh, Adrian, when are you doing a live stream? Come on, mate. This is time to put up or shut up. I'm waiting with bated breath for Adrian, right? I would love it, Tim. If I won the lotto, I'd have so many animals. I have a couple of dogs for protection, a couple of German Shepherds, and whatever else I fancied. Probably have a flock of pigeons as well, so it's to keep pigeons as I had. Yeah, Dipsy, don't hold back, mate. Get in there. Adrian, what do you need before you can go live? Have you got a phone and a webcam? We'll all come and sit there listening to you chat for hours upon end. Dwayne says he does a live stream. Are you going to do one, or is it an ongoing thing with you, Dwayne? And what's it about if it's ongoing? Do you know what? As this has gone on a little bit, I'm going to show you some of my mess on the side here. I can't even get rid of my hat, can I? And the other one. I've got all sorts on here. My phone, McKinley, KL200. You've asked for it now. See, you want to see a load of That's a McKinley and my meter. Just over the back, you'll see the 300 watt dummy load. The KL200. I don't know whether the webcam's going to focus on it. Yeah. And that there is me 50 amp power supply. It's a bit of a beast, that one. Let's turn it all back off. There you go. That's some of my mess on here. I'm playing about with a video at the moment. Now, this is to Alan, as in Albast. You mentioned when I was I made a comment on Alan's channel, which you can find by typing in Albast on YouTube. And Alan said something about a spider beam. Now, from what Tim, it's a switch mode. It don't give out any noise, not that I can detect. There's an offset for it. I don't need it. It came up in a deal, and I'm having it. I've got the exact same model, but the 30 amp, so I didn't need that one. But and I made a comment on Alan's channel about his beam, and he said, no. He said that it's not a normal pole; it's a spider beam. Now, a spider beam to me looks a bit like a cobweb, but from what I can gather, there's actually a pole called a spider beam, which is a bit strange. Got 36 likes, and people are slowly but surely dropping out now. Now, Albert, do you want everyone to see that email address, mate? If you do, I'll show it. I'm not sure if it's come up. I am for music. I'll come back to you on that, mate. Now, Albert's just give out his email address on here. He needs some help with his QRM problem. Maybe might need someone to come with some ladders and help sort his coax out. He lives in Hitchin. Okay, Alan Albast. Yeah, it's misleading, isn't it? When you said spider beam, I thought it looks like a Yagi to me. I thought, I'll shut up. Never heard of them, Alan, to be honest. Yeah, I was going to say. Yeah, Alan, Fred. Catch you later, mate. Thanks for dropping by. Catch you soon. Stay safe, mate. Now, this guy with the SWR problem, I am for music. What rig are you using it on? You got an 1.7 SWR. What rig are you using? I'm just going to have to concentrate on. I think it's AM for music with the SWR problem. Now, all you others, if you can sort of follow along with this. Okay, you're using the Lincoln 2. Have you tried it? Have you tried going down to 26 and 25 megs on it? And have you gone any higher? Have you found anywhere where your SWR suddenly dips? I know it sounds strange, but a lot of people don't think to do that. Yeah, Dwayne, of course it is, mate. Okay, AM for music said its SWR is better at the top end of 29. Well, AM for music, I wish I knew your name, to be honest. And if you tell me, I'll probably forget it. The higher up in the band you go, the shorter the aerial has to be. And as you come down in frequency, your aerial needs to be longer. So basically, your aerial's too short. If you can extend it, and if you can't extend it enough, if it's like got a stainless steel whip, what you can do is get a terminal block, slide it over the end of the whip, do the screw up, and put a piece of welding rod or a bit of coat hanger or whatever. If you find that your SWR then is great on 26 megs, chop an inch off and recheck it. Chop an inch off, recheck it until you get it where you want it. Now, I am for music. Does that make any sense to you, mate? Or does it all sound a bit double Dutch? If you're resonant on 29 megs and you're trying to use it on 27 megs, not long enough. Now, Albert saying some of the vids are yours that you uploaded. Where are you finding your videos? Not on your channel, Albert. Is that what you're saying there, mate? Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm getting you. Now, I am for music. What I just said, does that make any sense to you? Colin Grunt Trick says, what do you think of the SWR matches? I've got to be honest, I don't tend to use a matcher. I don't need one. Once you've got the basics of what you're doing, unless you're planning on using multiple bands, then you shouldn't really need a matcher. I've used them in the past, of course, as most of us have. AM for music says yes, but I can't get it lower. Have you tried extending the aerial then? And what antenna is it, AM for music? Emil, 73's mate, thanks for dropping by. It's been a pleasure. I'm on air again on Sunday from 7 p.m. UK time. Yeah, stay safe for Mill. Murphy home bases. You got Swady boy. Dwayne, if you sent a link in the chat, I'll have to look it up later because obviously I'm doing this. I can't be clicking and disappearing, you know. Yeah, you're right, Colin. This it's a webcam in actual fact. It does make a little squeak when it focuses in and out, which is like it just did. I'll tell you what, Dwayne, make a comment underneath one of my other videos, and I'll have a look at the link, okay? But I'm sure you did put it in the chat section. Wayne says, do I ever watch the guy on UK FMCB radio servicing? Yes, I do. And it's through him that I found out about the Fidelity 2000. It's got basically a CBX come Rotel or York board in it. Yeah, Cole Smith says, can you use a matcher to sort the SWR out with an amp? You can, but you want one that can handle the power. I used to use Zetagi Transmatch, and I think in that you could put about 1,000 watts into it. But in an ideal world, you do want your SWR okay. If you can't fathom it or your antenna just won't have it, I would recommend something like the Transmatch, or it's only a CB matcher. You could go for one of the MFJs, a manual tuner or something like that, which would be better. I've noticed with the CB servicing guy, he tends to focus mainly on FM. He obviously knows his stuff, but when he's doing a rig with AM on it, he never tends to do that. I don't know why. I like watching him, to be honest. Him and his mate, Mr. Chips. Yeah, he seems a decent enough guy. Dwayne's going to try out the new Albrecht AE 5890. It's got all the bands, and well, I presume you mean all the modes. This is something that there's a bit of a crossover. A band is a block of channels. You might have low band, low band, mid band, AM, FM, upper side band, lower side band, and carrier wave or CW. They're modes. Okay. So if you're on the mid block on FM, or let's say you're on the mid block on AM, and someone says go to FM, it doesn't mean go up on the CB 2781 channels. It just means go to changing mode. A lot of people, there's a mate of mine does it all the time. I'm not sure There's the answer to that, and I ain't going to say you that's too. Kev 63's right on his doorstep. Yeah, fair enough. Darren Barwick. Catch you later, Darren. Dirty Katie. Up at 4. Catch you later, mate. Thanks for popping by. Well, I'm going to start winding it up because the amount of people are slowly dropping down. We peaked out at just under 60, I think, which is a record for my streams, at least. And I will say, thanks everyone for joining. Might even treat myself to a sweet. Swady boy, catch you later, mate. I'll just let everyone say their goodbyes or, whatever. I am for music. I hope that's thrown a bit of light on your SWR issue. The antenna's basically not long enough. And as you can find that out, if you've got a mobile antenna, right, key the mic, look at your SWR meter, get out of the car and just put your hand near the aerial. If you put your hand near the aerial and your SWR drops, the aerial's not long enough. If the SWR goes up, it's too long. That was an old trick that I learned back in the 80s, and it's helped me a lot. My old rig doctor showed me that. It's crude. Don't ask me the technical reasons why it works, but it does work. SWR spray, yeah. Albert's asking about the Thunderpole 5/8 wave antenna. It was 80 quid. Any good? Albert, don't buy another one. You've just bought yourself a 2016. I'm not familiar with that aerial that you're talking about, to be honest with you, mate. Wayne, catch you later, mate. Right, I'm going to give it a 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I'm going to wrap the live stream up. I've got a comfortable chair. I spent a little bit longer with you guys. Hope you've all enjoyed it. Bit of appreciation if you have. Remember to hit the like button. Got 38 so far. Thanks to everyone for that. Yeah, good night, Marvin. Thanks for dropping by, mate. It's been good fun. Gary Seed, latest, mate. Eric from Belgium, 73's Eric. You stay safe. Carl Smith, appreciate you coming. Eddie's mum, Adrian Hobby. Right, that's it. I'm going to end here. So I'll just end by saying stay safe, everyone. If you've got a question that you forgot to ask, right, try and remember it for next time, okay? Thanks for popping by. I've enjoyed it. If you've enjoyed it, job's a good one. It's Charlie Tango 318 signing out. See you later, fellas.